Good afternoon and welcome to the Sheffield Olympic Legacy Park to our very first Zoom press conference. I'm Richard Caburn, the chair of the Sheffield Olympic Legacy Park, and I'm hoping today that I'm going to keep the proceedings going for the next, 45, 60 minutes or so. And can I, first of all, thank all of you for actually responding to the invitation. We were very pleasantly surprised. I think we're going to have something around about 300 actually on the call. And I hope that it's going to be interesting and an informative event as well. Probably just before I go to the fly through, which has been prepared for today, which actually shows where we are with the Olympic Legacy Park and then the future as well. I think it'd be interesting just to give you a little bit of background, because back in 1991, Sheffield actually staged the World Student Games, and that was using sport to regenerate the East End of Sheffield. And the centrepiece of that was the Don Valley Stadium, which was a 30,000 seater stadium, was used extensively over that period. But as the years unfolded, it got a little tired. It wanted a lot of refurbishment. And therefore, there was a decision in 2014 by the then leader of the council, Julie Dorr, looking visionary, as it were, to the future and saying, what can we do with this? Can we actually use this for some modern sporting development? And so a number of us were asked to look at that, which we did. But what was happening in Sheffield at that time was the impact of the Olympic Games in London. The legacy, the National Centre for Sports Exercise Medicine, was starting to be developed. We'd all the facilities that had helped our elite athletes to do so well at the Olympic Games in London through the English Institute for Sport, where we got some of the best sports science, sports medicine, sports engineering, sports psychology, and so on. So we put this together, put all these, as it were, assets together. And with our universities, our teaching hospitals, the private sector, and a number of the sporting organisations, we were able to develop ideas around an emerging Sheffield Olympic Legacy Park. So it was a very strong partnership within Sheffield that actually laid the very strong foundations that are now in place and which we are developing from. And it's, I think, a mark of success that we're attracting companies like IBM, like Canon, like AWS, like B. Braun to come and develop on the site with us. But we're also very proud that it's kept its roots in the community as well. So it really is about building from the bottom up. And I think what you'll see from the fly through, which we're now going to show you, is how we've been able to develop, as it were, from that 91 World Student Games to where we are now and where we're going to take it to in the future. So we'll show you the fly through now.
Sheffield Olympic Legacy Park, delivering the future of health and well-being through transformational research, innovation, and applied technology. A collaboration of key organizations creating a life sciences park focused on health, well-being, sport, education, and research. Developed following London 2012, Sheffield is the only city in the world with a legacy park born out of an Olympic Games. It has the potential to be globally acknowledged for proactively delivering effective change and positively impacting millions of people on the post-pandemic road to recovery. A key gateway to the city, Sheffield Olympic Legacy Park is adjacent to the Advanced Manufacturing Park, home to Boeing, Rolls-Royce, and McLaren, and has excellent regional and national transport links. World-class sports facilities include the English Institute of Sport Sheffield, home to over 100 Olympic and Paralympic athletes training for Tokyo 2021. Ice Sheffield, boasting 2 Olympic-size ice pads. And Fly DSA Arena, home to Sheffield Steelers' professional ice hockey team. These have been enhanced by a 3G pitch for further professional sports, including rugby league and women's football. Education is provided at a university technical college and an Oasis Academy. The opening of the Advanced Wellbeing Research Centre in 2020 marks the beginning of a life sciences cluster of world-class research and innovation. Sheffield Olympic Legacy Park will be the catalyst for a ripple of regeneration throughout the surrounding area. Nearby investment has already been made by Sheffield Hallam University. Adjacent to the park is the National Centre of Excellence for Food Engineering, a state-of-the-art research centre for innovation in the food and drink industry. As we enter the park, we are welcomed by the world-leading Advanced Wellbeing Research Centre. National and international strategic partnerships support the centre in its aim to design, develop, and deliver innovations that help people move. Companies from across the world are joining the centre's Wellbeing Accelerator program to benefit from the specialist facilities, experience, and expertise. The Sheffield headquarters of the National Centre for Sport and Exercise Medicine is also based here, an Olympic legacy program implementing whole system approaches to increasing physical activity across the population. On the left, Sheffield Children's NHS Foundation Trust is planning a centre for child health technology. This centre will be a global first, bringing together experts in health, academia, and industry to develop technologies to deliver the world's most advanced healthcare for children. It will stimulate technical innovation, attract inward investment, develop national and international partnerships, reduce costs to the NHS, and incorporate existing national networks of child health experts. UTC Sheffield Olympic Legacy Park provides an unrivaled employer-led curriculum for students from across the city region. The specialisms focus on life sciences, providing excellent career opportunities and shaping the workforce of the future. A community stadium is being delivered by Scarborough Group International. The existing 3G pitch accommodates professional sport in addition to educational and community use. The stadium will include retail opportunities, offices, and conference facilities. At the top of the park, Cannon Medical, in collaboration with Sheffield Sharks Basketball and Living Care, is planning a medical centre incorporating an MRI scanner, CT scanner, X-ray machine, and treatment rooms. This will be complemented by a 3-court, 3,000 capacity indoor basketball arena. The park has excellent transport links across the Sheffield city region and is less than 2 miles from the M1 motorway. Access to the canal provides opportunities for physical activity and traffic-free links to Sheffield city centre and National Cycle Network. Scarborough Group International is developing the next phase of Sheffield Olympic Legacy Park, where new companies and supply chain partners will locate alongside some of the most advanced life sciences research centres in the country. Each building will face the grass bowl, the village green of the park, with a cricket square at the centre. This will be a unique development, providing an outdoor environment used by the business community during the day and the local community during evenings and weekends. Sheffield Olympic Legacy Park is a leading light in the growing economy of Sheffield city region, a key investment opportunity, maximising the capacity and capabilities of life sciences innovations into industrialisation and commercialisation for a prosperous, sustainable future.
Well, I hope that gives you a sense of what we've done to date and indeed where we want to take that in the future. But now I'm going to invite our panel of speakers individually to put, as it were, more information around the projects that they're involved in. The first one is going to be Professor Rob Copeland, excuse me, who headed up the development of the National Centre for Sports Exercise Medicine. He has now taken over as head of the Advanced Wellbeing Research Centre, effectively bringing those together. And it's their first anniversary this week. They opened just a year ago, and it's been an incredibly, as it were, active year, even with all the constraints that's on him. But Rob is now going to show you where he is at the moment and where he's going to go in the future. Rob?
Yeah. Thanks, Richard. Good afternoon, everyone. As Richard mentioned, this week marks 12 months since the opening of the Advanced Wellbeing Research Centre at Sheffield Olympic Legacy Park. Established with £15 million of investment from the Department of Health and Social Care and the European Regional Development Fund, the Advanced Wellbeing Research Centre has a vision to transform lives through innovations that help people move. And the COVID pandemic has shone a light on how important that vision is to our region, to our economy, and to the way that we all live our lives. 2020 has been a challenging year for everyone, and yet I'm incredibly proud of the positive impact that the AWRC team have had working with our local communities and our global collaborators. Some of our highlights are pictured on screen here, and they include individual recognition for Dave Hembry, top left, as the BBC Sports Personality Unsung Hero for Yorkshire and Humber for his work supporting communities to be more active in strength and conditioning. As the research hub for the National Centre for Sport and Exercise Medicine in Sheffield, the AWRC has also supported more than 500,000 vulnerable older adults to remain active during lockdown via our Active at Home booklet, which was co-produced with Public Health England and Age UK. We've also been successful in securing research grants to co-produce solutions with people with serious mental illness to help make it easier for them to be physically active. And that's a programme called Spaces that you'll hear more about this year. And the work of our sports engineers translating that elite sport, the research that was developed with the Olympics into population health, was profiled as part of the BBC programme, The Truth About Getting Fit at Home. And I'm sure we've all had our cans of baked beans and lifted them up.
We're actually just going to pause Rob there because Rob, your internet is dropping out. So I'd just like to move on to Mark Hitchman's presentation, and Rob will circle back to you in one moment.
Yeah, okay, that's good. And Mark, could I just say, in introducing you, that as Mark Hitchman is the MD of Canon Medical Systems Europe, but Canon and indeed Toshiba before that have been really on the journey from day one at the Sheffield Olympic Legacy Park. It's a working relationship we've had with them, and it is now matured. And when Canon and Toshiba came together in 2016, it still continued to have a strong working relationship with us. And I know that Mark's got some really exciting plans for their continued development at the Sheffield Olympic Legacy Park. So Mark, it's a real pleasure to ask you to say a few words this morning.
Thank you, Richard. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone, actually.
Yeah, good afternoon.
It's over the noon, hasn't it? So I'm hoping my internet holds it together better than Rob's. My next slide, please. That would be great. Just got 30 seconds per slide. Here's a typical array of the sort of machines that we manufacture globally, predominantly in Japan. And I'll come to where we research some of that software for those machines in a little while. But whether it's CT on the furthest left, or then ultrasound, or X-ray, the next one along, or the one on the far right, an MRI scanner, that's just a high-level touch of some of the machines that we make. And for example, CT scanners, the one on the left, nearly half of them in the UK are ours. And these are the sort of life and death triage machines in hospitals, so that we have to look after around the clock. And we are delivering these machines with AI already installed to the NHS already for over 1 year. Let's have a look at the next slide, please, just to show you some typical lovely images. Sometimes within seconds, on some of these, even in real time, these are the gorgeous images that we can get of the inside of the human body. Yes, these are the ones that have been the 3D renders with color, just to make them really stand out. But whether it's CT, MR, X-ray or ultrasound, wonderful detail inside the human body. And if you look at the bottom row of images and count 1, 2, 3 from the left, 1, 2, 3, you can see that there's the lungs, and you can see a green blob on the top left there of one of the lungs, and that's a sort of typical tumor we might see in seconds once you've been in one of our CT scanners. And going forwards, it's going to be AI, artificial intelligence, that helps the doctors diagnose that. That's pretty obvious, but at some point, those tumors start as one cell, and how early we can detect them before the naked eye can spot them is where AI is going to really support us in the very near future. I'll come to that in a moment, but some typical portrait gallery of the sort of images we get these days. Next slide, please. You can't do anything on your own in the world these days. You need partnerships. So the next couple of slides are about partnerships. For a good 7 years now, we've been the partners with Canon Medical, and before, as Richard said, we were Toshiba before Canon bought us, lock, stock and barrel from Toshiba as a medical manufacturer globally. And with Manchester United was the first imaging centre of its kind with CT, MR and ultrasound in an elite sport setting solely for their use. Not because we're football fans particularly, but because we can research into earlier detection of injuries, even earlier detection of illness now, such as cardiac anomalies. We can do faster rehab and model that better and help the doctors. And we can actually cause prevention of injuries and illness. So think about how that amplifies into UK PLC. That's the research we are doing there now for 7 years. And of course, if one of these big football clubs or sports clubs does something that others want to follow, so on the top right there, you can see Barcelona Football Club have got the same, as have Real Madrid. And other football clubs you will have heard of at the top of the game have also got some of our equipment too. Next slide, please. Our partnerships run deeply because you can't do that research without the connection to universities and senior doctors. Top left there is Dr. or Professor now, Guido Pierles, ultrasounding somebody's heart, an athlete's heart. Bottom left, a significant cancer research UK project at Cambridge, and we're a significant part of that with them. In the middle there is the cardiac mobile laboratory that's already visited several football clubs. And in the future, the goal is that these proliferate to universities and even the workplace around, because of course, heart disease, as one example, is a major cause of foreshortened mortality in the population in the West. So earlier detection equals lower cost interventions and better outcomes. And that's the whole point of what we're trying to achieve, and certainly bring to sharp focus at the Olympic Legacy Park. And of course, on the far right, as Rob said before internet chopped him off rudely, is the AWRC, who've had our ultrasound scanner for a couple of years, already have about 8 research projects running. And we want to take that into a much deeper level with our friends at Sheffield University through this project. Next slide, please. This is now becoming a sort of sideways but very important segue into bringing partnerships together in sport, but at a deeper level than just the sport. And here we are with Sheffield Sharks basketball team, and we are the sponsors of their Respect program for children from challenging backgrounds, and how to bring them into a safe environment where they can be taught, where they can be coached, where they can learn respect, where they can learn how to live healthily, where they can have better opportunities. And just, one of the things we're proud of at Canon Medical, the middle picture there, is that their minibus to move the children around safely went past its use by date a year ago, just over, and so we had a fundraising program and bought them a replacement. There we are, just handing it over. But this is very much within the values of the Olympic Legacy Park, to intervene. The sooner you intervene, the better the outcomes and the better the quality of life for society. So that's really important. That's our relationship with the Sheffield Sharks. Their values are wonderful, and we want to be a bigger part of that going forwards. So next slide, please. The arena that you saw on the proposed arena to be built, hopefully later this year and into next year, all being well, subject to contracts, is the Canon Medical, will house a Canon Medical imaging facility. At one end, there's the main entrance at the back. So it's almost got 2 main entrances, this building. And in there will be CT, MR, X-ray, ultrasound, and a lot of IT, including the AI I mentioned earlier. And this will be available for the NHS. It will be available for all patients under the right criteria, and it will be available for the university for research, working with our partners Living Care, operating that, and of course with Sheffield Sharks and the other sports in the area too, for research and for diagnostics to help them improve their wellness. So that's the arena, and that's our proposal. Next slide, please. We are a significant organisation in the UK, anyhow, Canon Medical. But what not many people know is that we have a large R&D facility in Edinburgh. It looks like an old whiskey distillery building because it was once. Now it's in a cool part of Edinburgh, although most of it is cool. That is an emerging sort of Silicon Valley area of Edinburgh. Our reach at 150 very bright people in there, mostly with PhDs, and you know we are developing in there fancy 3D rendering and AI algorithms, and they won a grant from Innovate UK and for AI for the NHS. So next slide, please. And that you know, part of that AI development and that grant and the development going forward is that our goal is that the NHS is the first universal healthcare system in the world, like it was with the first to have the vaccine for COVID-19, that is using AI-assisted diagnosis. So this improves the accuracy considerably, and it improves the throughput of the patients as well. So this is almost like the vaccine coming at the end of last year. This is not a minute too soon that we can bring this into this space, teaching the AI on NHS patients, because of course the demographics around the world have slightly differing disease processes and different susceptibilities. And so it's important that we train this AI for the NHS on NHS patients to really help the NHS efficiency going forward. So this is what we're trying to achieve on the Olympic Legacy Park, is pivotal to that journey. Next slide, please, which is actually the last material slide. And this is, for us, how it all knits together. You know, you can see the AWRC building for research, the top left, and the Child Health and Technology Centre on the middle left, that Paul will talk about soon. Professional sport is key, as I've mentioned already. Top middle, that's our R&D centre in Edinburgh. Of course, in the middle, the Sheffield Sharks Stadium, housing those wonderful imaging assets that we've provided. Top right, you know, education at the UTC and bringing apprentices in and training them, because there's a shortage of engineers that we find, for example, as we're trying to recruit. Supporting the NHS, the middle right, and NHS patients being able to use these facilities, and the technology itself, because our friends in Edinburgh will develop the software that will go into the machines to be exported around the world. So this is not just a win-win, it's a multiple win all round. And so we're very excited to be part of this. The next slide is my last slide, which is my closing off slide, available for questions at the end, but thank you for listening. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you very much, Mark, for that. And I just underline you are really a valued partner on the Sheffield Olympic Legacy Park. As I say, you've been on this journey from effectively day one, as I say, and you are valued. I'm going to go back to Rob Copeland, but just before I do, if anybody wants to ask questions, if they've got the Q&A there at the bottom of the screen, if you put your questions on there, we're going to have a short Q&A session later on, but those that are not answered in the Q&A, we will answer them on our website anyway. So if people want to put questions in, then please use that facility on the screen. Rob, back to you, and I hope you're reconnected.
Thanks, Richard. Perhaps you can give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. The irony of the challenges of 2020 and the pandemic is coming home to roost with homeschooling and internet Wi-Fi. I'd just like to return to some of our highlights. I mentioned Dave Hembrough and his Sports Personality Award, the National Centre for Sport and Exercise Medicine, the Research Hub at the AWRC supported 500,000 vulnerable adults to stay active at home through the Active at Home booklet with Public Health England. And we're working with people with serious mental illness currently to co-produce innovations that make it easy for them to be physically active through a program called Spaces. And our work with the sports engineers who translate elite sport research into population health was profiled as part of the BBC programme The Truth About Getting Fit at Home. Next slide, please. Over the past 12 months, we've added to our strategic collaborations with GoFit and UK Active joining AWRC. Through these partnerships, we've explored the role that the health and fitness industry can play in supporting COVID recovery, as well as understanding the really important concept of COVID-related risk within gyms and leisure facilities. We've also strengthened our relationships with our long-standing collaborators such as Westfield Health and Parkrun, and we're incredibly excited by the opportunities that Mark has set out with Canon Medical in 2021. A key focus for the AWRC this year has been business and industry R&D. And this has gone from strength to strength through our Accelerator programme. The Wellbeing Accelerator has engaged 24 companies in research and innovation that's helped take their products and ideas closer to market. And this has included local startups such as JT Rehab and their S-Press, and you can see that on screen here. And this novel rehabilitation tool helps prevent hospital-acquired deconditioning and maintains people's physical function, which is absolutely crucial. Next slide, please. Thanks. As the region recovers from the pandemic, researchers at the AWRC are helping to shape a well-being driven economy with the city region. This places health and well-being at the heart of policy and commissioning decisions with a really strong emphasis on tackling inequalities. We're also working with Sheffield City Region Active Travel Commissioner Dame Sarah Story to reshape our physical and social environment to make it easier for people to travel by bike or walk around our towns and cities. Understandably, the last 12 months has seen a strong focus for us on supporting health and care teams to deal with the pandemic. And in June, we established the Recover Unit, which was dedicated to research and innovation for COVID rehab. To date, we've supported more than 10,000 people through our research into fatigue and long COVID, as well as amplifying the voice of people who have been struggling to recover from the long-term effects of the virus. And this work continues in 2021, and I'm delighted today to be able to announce that we'll be running a major programme of international research exploring the mechanisms that underpin fatigue in people recovering from COVID-19 with colleagues in the United States, India and the UK. This research will help hundreds of people in our region get back to full health. And finally, I'd like to announce that 2021 will see a strong push towards the establishment of a prehabilitation and rehabilitation programme for Sheffield, working specifically with people with a cancer diagnosis to help them prepare for and recover from their treatment. And this will positively impact hundreds of people across our region. I'd like to close by thanking the AWRC staff and all our collaborators for their incredible hard work over the past 12 months. And I very much look forward to working with Sheffield Olympic Legacy Park and its constituents on research and innovation in 2021. Thanks, Richard.
Thank you very much for that, Rob. And with that slight interruption, but it just shows you've had a fantastic 12 months and clearly you've laid the foundation there. There are two incredible research programs that you are going to embark upon and, as you say, are going to add real value to the community and to the wider health and wellbeing agenda as well. So thanks a lot, Rob, for that, and good luck for the next 12 months. Can I now move to introduce Kevin McCabe, who is chairman of the Scarborough Group International, and they are not only a partner on the Olympic Legacy Park, but also are in the centre of the city on the digital campus. And indeed, it was only last week, I think it was, Kevin, when you announced the fourth stage of that, which was the development of a new building called Endeavour. But we were able to sign off a development agreement with Scarborough Group International at the end of last year. And they are now submitting, I think, which Kevin's going to go into, the master plan, which is really going to take the Sheffield Olympic Legacy Park into the next 5 years and beyond. So this is not only the present, which they're involved in, but it's also very much the future as well. Kevin?
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm here to present Scarborough Group's vision for the future in the planning and development of Sheffield Olympic Legacy Park. Firstly, I must say a great thanks to Richard himself. Without his drive, determination, and indeed passion for this Sheffield Olympic Legacy Park, we wouldn't be here today, and it would never have happened. Richard, you deserve a major accolade, and the support you've had from David and Claire also go with it. Additionally, we've had great support as we've negotiated the development agreement with Sheffield City Council. Ed Highfield and his team have really got to grips with working with Mark Jackson, my colleague, in the intricacies of a developer having to work through a major park in terms of size and area. So thanks to the council as well. A great partnership, maybe demonstrating clearly how public sectors can work with private sectors successfully. If I could move to slide 1, please. This is just a quick demonstration of, on the right, certain of our major regeneration projects in Leeds and Salford, Manchester, but more particularly Sheffield Digital Campus, with the final phase being Endeavour, as Richard mentioned. The first 3 phases you can see, they all look very similar. We've created this strong corner for an attractive, exciting building where it will accommodate some 67,000 square feet of offices, ready late summer of 2022. What I'm really trying to plan is using the lower ground floor of the building, which fronts Pond Hill, part of that as a showroom and office to promote Sheffield Olympic Legacy Park. In recognition, it'll be a park that will be here developing for many, many years hence. So if we then can turn to slide 2, please, Emma. As you'll see from these aerial views, our mixed-use business park is focused on establishing a working environment that nurtures, facilitates and promotes innovation, growth and success in the health, well-being and activity sectors. The most important issues for people and society, never more so than at the present time. The park harnesses the industrial heritage of Sheffield City region and the Northern Powerhouse ethos of our new industrial revolution, with quality of life to the fore. The overall pictures of the park show the modern environment to be created, blending new with old, accepting the attractiveness of the key existing buildings, namely the Institute for Sport, the skating areas and the events arena. However, creative design work to be undertaken by our architects and team members will demonstrate how various new buildings are to be situated around some 12 acres of green space, incorporating Furness Hill and our very own oval cricket ground. The pictures also indicate the tramway and its station running alongside the Sheffield to Tinsley Canal, where in times ahead we'll explore the virtues of the canal, of the land opposite, on the opposite side of the canal, to extend the park with further health, well-being and sporting facilities, as well as major new housing areas for the city. Slide 3, please, Emma. If I may turn now to our sketch master plan, you'll notice the 3 separately coloured areas. Blue and orange are designated to provide some 800,000 square feet of buildings, primarily for business involved in the health, well-being and research sectors. Our first stage building will be to create an enterprise centre consisting of 40,000 square feet of space and situated alongside the oval. We plan to be on site later this year to have the first part of the centre ready for use at the back end of 2022, and that our second stage of 60,000 square feet will follow on in due course. The light purple areas show the areas where hotel and other leisure and retail uses are planned to suit the requirements of those working or living nearby to the park. During this year, a detailed planning application demonstrating our master plan will be submitted to Sheffield City Council as we work with their team members at the moment to ensure it is covering all parts that we wish to ensure please the park in future, indeed our current stakeholders on site. Let's not forget the park itself covers an area of 80 acres in total. And slide 4, please. In February, we commenced work on the building of our community stadium to be undertaken by GMI Construction Group. The principal stand is designed in a manner to not only provide modern facilities for sporting and medical use, but also some 18,000 square feet of business, conference and office space, plus 3 shop/coffee type units. Our stadium will become home to Sheffield Eagles, as well as accommodating Sheffield FC, who will be utilising it for men and women's football, children's football, and those who are disadvantaged. Our neighbours at the UTC and the Academy will also use the facilities, as well as other local people. Completion of the stadium is scheduled for February 2022. And my thanks go to Adrian Morris and Liam Devlin of the Football Foundation for producing for us a grant of substance to help us with the stadium's development. It's perhaps heartening to remember that the foundation is a combined charity of the Premier League, the Football Association and the government itself. And therefore we've been able to procure a grant which is not purely for football. It is recognition by the Premier League in particular that other sports there, complementary sports, can also be used. So finally, the last slide, please, Emma. We South Yorkshire folk can at times be somewhat reluctant to shout from the rooftops or celebrate the heritage and history of our city region. In this case, let's be different. We've got something very special at the Olympic Legacy Park. In bygone years, as so many of you will know, the Don Valley area, mentioned earlier by Richard, was home to some famous industrial companies manufacturing the world's very finest iron and steel components. One such fine company, Brown Baileys, were located on the site of our community stadium. Brown Baileys' most famous employee was a gentleman called Harry Brearley, who incidentally supported Sheffield United, but more importantly, was the inventor of stainless steel back in 1913. So as a special feature within the park, in due course, we'll be organising a suitable celebratory monument in a key position in order to recognise and not forget the past. When the monument's ready, I'm expecting our own man of steel, Richard Cabourn, to do the honours when the monument is ready to be unveiled. Ladies and gentlemen, we have much to do in ensuring that the vision that we have at the moment for Sheffield Olympic Legacy Park comes to fruition in the months and years ahead. So thank you for taking time out to look and listen to our presentation.
Is the past, the present and the future, and it's the future that we're very much interested in today, making sure that we can capitalise on the park and beyond all the research and development and the intellectual property coming out of that. And I think that really does map it out with the master plan that you've done there. And thanks very much for your endorsement of that. Can I move in thanking Kevin to Professor Paul Dimitri? Paul is head of research at the Sheffield Children's NHS Hospital Trust, but importantly, is the driver, the visionary behind what I think is probably one of the most exciting projects around childcare. We're very privileged to have one of only 3 children's hospitals in the country in Sheffield, and we're also privileged to have people like Paul Dimitri working in them and, as it were, working in partnership with us to develop some of the research and development, which is going to affect many, many young people for many years to come in what Paul, I think, is now going to explain. Can I just also say that Paul and David Hobson, who is my chief executive, who Kevin's just referred to, have been working very hard. And we are now at a stage where, when we put the final financing package together, we can have this World Centre opened by the end of 2022. Paul?
Thank you, Richard, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So, ladies and gentlemen, at the heart of the Sheffield Olympic Legacy Park will be the new National Centre for Child Health Technology. The National Centre for Child Health Technology is going to be the first of its kind in the world, creating the most advanced and integrated healthcare system for children. And what it will do is ensure sustainable improvements in health and healthcare for the future. Next slide, please. The on-site ecosystem will bring together industry, academia, clinicians, and most importantly, patients and their families to create high-value products at pace. The centre will be led by Sheffield Children's NHS Foundation Trust, which, as Richard has said, one of only 3 specialist children's trusts in the country and home to some of the world's leading experts in children's healthcare. Our organisation already has a national reputation in the field of child health technology. From a modest investment of £50,000 from the Yorkshire and Humber Academic Health Science Network 6 years ago, we've developed nationally renowned child health technology networks, now funded by the National Institute of Health Research, that have leveraged over £12 million of funding for child health technology development. And in March, we will be hosting the UK's first child health technology conference in Sheffield. So it's on this well-established track record that we believe that the new National Centre for Child Health Technology will position the UK as a world leader in child health technology. Next slide, please. Investing in the health and healthcare of children and young people makes absolute sense. Our future, in fact, depends on it. Children and young people make up 25% of our population in the UK, but importantly, they are 100% of the future. The many millions of UK children and young people of today are the workforce, the parents, and the leaders of tomorrow. They will be the people we treat in adulthood in the NHS. They will live longer, so must stay healthier for longer. And the current pandemic has taught us the importance of investing in children. Investing in measures that will prevent ill health in children will reap rewards now and long into the future. The National Centre for Child Health Technology strategy will therefore be focused on addressing the Super 7 child health national priorities through innovative solutions driven by multi-professional partnerships. Those are obesity, long-term conditions, children's mental health, children's disability, children's cancer, maternal and child health and the principle of being born well and living well, and finally prevention. Working to address these national child health strategic priorities will ensure that we deliver on key government policies, including the NHS long-term or 10-year plan, the prevention agenda, and importantly, the levelling up agenda. And that's levelling up between North and South, but also between the disparity between children's healthcare and adult healthcare. Next slide, please. Our pioneering centre will harness the best talent to support areas of technology development in many domains, including robotics, data analytics, virtual augmented reality, artificial intelligence, digital technologies, and remote monitoring, to name a few, so that children with long-term conditions no longer need to come to hospital on a regular basis. Our work will build on the already well-established National Institute of Health Research network portfolio, through which in 2018 and 19 we worked with over 70 private sector companies, identified 114 unmet needs, and worked on 60 projects. The National Centre for Childhood Technology will support exponential growth in partnerships between industry, academia and health. So in the next couple of slides, I'm going to provide you with a very brief snapshot of just 2 of the projects that demonstrate the power of technology in child health. Next slide, please. So just before I show you this video, in the last 2 years, we've been working, we've developed an advanced rehabilitation system with our physiotherapists at Sheffield Children's Hospital and games developers at Sheffield Hallam University for children with arm and hand injuries, using an immersive virtual reality environment. You're about to view a virtual reality scene of a castle that children have been asked to climb during their rehabilitation to complete their therapy. So if we can just click on the video, please. So this is the virtual reality environment, but what I wanted to tell you about is one of the most touching stories during our work on this project, which was a 13-year-old boy who was badly burnt and found his exercises far too painful and distressing. So it was with the use of this new technology delivering the same exercises, he not only started doing his physiotherapy, but actually we struggled to get him off the game. And in fact, it was fantastic to see a boy that would not engage in his healthcare finally being able to rehabilitate in a new and exciting way that we've used with many other children. Next slide, please. So in another project, we're currently working with a company to evaluate a device that significantly improves vision for those that are significantly visually impaired. Children who could not see can now see the world again. And as you'll see from this short video, our work in child health technology can truly be life-changing.
You're right, Charlie. 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 What's wrong? It works. Are you all right?
Yeah.
Are you just really pleased? Take it off for a minute, buddy. You'll get it wet.
Next slide, please. So as you can see from those 2 videos, the work that we do truly changes the lives of the young people that we look after. And importantly, the National Centre for Child Health Technology will provide a wealth of opportunity and economic growth to the region and also nationally. It will create over 100 high-value jobs. Its co-location with the Oasis School and University Technical College will provide research and employment opportunities in the future. Overall, we predict that the Centre for Child Health Technology alone will generate £30 million in research funding, attract £50 million in private sector investment, and will deliver over £200 million in savings to the NHS in the next 10 years. Next slide, please. Pioneering therapies, as you see from the previous slides, will be developed in the Centre for Child Health Technology, addressing issues that affect millions of children, such as those with asthma, diabetes, epilepsy, mental health conditions in children and young people, and also focus on health prevention and childhood obesity. Our work is founded on the principles of UK research and innovation that will push the frontiers of human knowledge and understanding, deliver economic impact and social prosperity, and will create social and cultural impact by supporting our society and others to become enriched, healthier, more resilient and sustainable. In 2 years, ladies and gentlemen, the UK could be opening the biggest and most advanced child health technology centre in the world. The National Centre for Child Health Technology will truly position the UK as a global leader in advanced paediatric healthcare and child health technology. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Paul. And I must admit, the last video there, it always brings a tear. I mean, a young child being able to see again is absolutely phenomenal. It is truly changing lives, there's no doubt about that. And thanks for all the work. And I hope that what you have described today is yet another quantum leap forward in developing that research and development around the Sheffield Children's Hospital, and one that will bring not only credit to them, but a great chance for a lot of young people in the years to come. So thanks a lot for that, Paul. Can I just say that we're running a little bit tight on time, so I'm just going to ask a couple of questions, and we're going to answer all the questions on our website, on the Sheffield Olympic Legacy Park website. So can I just ask, this is one to, I think, to you, Paul, and it's one about young people. It's one that's been asked by several, and it's from Jessica Stevenson, the principal at the UTC, and said, how do you think the CCHT will impact on the pupils and students at the Oasis Academy and the University Technical College? Do you see this helping to develop the workforce of the future?
Thanks very much, Richard, and thanks for the question. Hugely important question, and hugely important that we do work collectively with the University Technical College and the school. I think, you know, by the co-location of the University Technical College and the school with the National Centre for Child Health Technology, I think this is going to give children and young people an insight into the amazing work that we do, and I'm hoping that it inspires them to enter into a job that supports technology development, or in paediatric healthcare, or supports them in entering into the NHS and paediatrics and child healthcare. I think the other important thing, Richard, is that we will work with the school and the University Technical College to involve them in our research as well. It's hugely important that we work with them to get the best research for the children and young people that we're co-located with on the park.
Okay, thanks, Paul, for that. Can I just go on to Rob Copeland, and it's from Alex, at the interim director of Sheffield Chamber, and he's saying, like many cities, Sheffield is a city of small businesses. 90% of firms in the city employ less than 9 people. I didn't know that, but anyway, less than 9 people. What today's announcement and the plans for the future mean for those businesses? Rob?
Yeah, well, I think what it talks to is this R&D ecosystem, and through our Wellbeing Accelerator, we've demonstrated that we can support micro businesses, startups and small businesses to take ideas and concepts through to commercialization. And with the clustering of private sector and the incubation space as the park develops, it will be a place not only to develop your ideas, but also to grow your ideas. And I think there's a call on the city region to connect up that ecosystem to ensure that we keep the talent and the businesses within Sheffield. But the plans today secure, I think, the future of many small businesses in their areas of growth.
Thanks a lot, Rob. I'm going to two quick ones because you're answering them very quickly. So this is one to Mark. Mark, it's from John Rigby of Bon Bryant Architects, who great partners of ours and worked in many areas and many projects with us. It's amazing that Canon Medical are opening a sports diagnostic suite in the indoor community arena. Will the facilities be able to benefit those everyday sports enthusiasts of all abilities, as well as elite and professional athletes? Mark?
Yeah, thank you, Richard. Yes, is the answer, straightforward, and it's even NHS patients. But you know, the thing is, we will be working in there with Living Care. They're the very top quality clinical providers. They have a great diagnostic centre. It leads, very proven, high reputation, and we would, you know, they will have to have doctors' referrals. You can't just walk up there with an achy knee. But the whole point is that sport of any ability, and even NHS patients and research patients, you know, they're the ones that we really, really want to benefit from this.
Yeah. And I think the final one to Kevin, if I can, it's from Martin McCurvey, who was chair of the Sheffield Property Association. And Martin asked the question, the scale of the plans are inevitably very significant for Sheffield, but how do they compare nationally and internationally? How do we build something of global significance, or are you doing this before our very eyes? Kevin.
I suppose the latter part of Martin's question probably answers it. You know, we've already kicking off with 80 acres, with certain buildings on those 80 acres that we can combine. You know, having listened to our colleagues who are on site as well at the AWRC by Canon, and Paul on behalf of the children's care. It's to be done. We've got this real exciting project to create buildings that matter, to also envelope those with sporting facilities, with exercise facilities, whether it's cycle tracks, running tracks, all the things that begin to be ever more important to the UK to counteract the likes of obesity. I also think, Richard, and we've spoken about it, this Olympic Legacy Park of ours can expand beyond its current boundaries. That's the way we'll make it international, the sheer size and scale, so that eventually the East End of Sheffield, which, going back to one's youth, respective youths, wasn't the most pretty of areas, will actually become an area in itself that is so modern. None of the buildings we'll put up are old-fashioned. They're all ones that will contain facilities that help to see the buildings themselves more hygienic, whoever's utilising them, and the outdoor space used for sport, for leisure, for walking, running and cycling, all the things that make the next generation of society ever more fit and healthy and live longer lives. So we'll make it international. We will bring in money internationally and other organisations, we hope, to make it ever bigger.
Okay, thanks a lot, Kevin. Now I've just got very quickly to introduce the new leader of the Sheffield City Council, Bob Johnson, a big friend of mine and a big supporter of the Sheffield Olympic Legacy Park. But Bob, carrying on from Julie Dorr, who really vision was to set all this in place. I know you've been a great supporter, but welcome, Bob, and would you just like to say a few words?
I certainly would, and good afternoon, and thank you, Richard, for that introduction. I'm delighted as new leader of Sheffield City Council to be associated with today's event. It's been really exciting watching how the park's progressed over the last 6 years, since them early days in 2014, but more importantly, how it's set to progress over the next couple of years and delivering. I mean, these are some amazing statistics: £250 million worth of public and private investment, over 1 million square foot of real estate, and creating 5,600 jobs. But what's really important is that continued development, facilities for education, training, work experience. And what we can't forget is this is one of Sheffield's most deprived parts of the city. It's truly giving those young people that live in that part of the city great opportunities that will really transform their lives. But this is only the start of the story. And as a new leader, I want to bring together partnerships of both public and private sector, like you've done at Sheffield Olympic Legacy Park, to build one of the country's foremost transformational technology clusters. We've already got huge strengths across Sheffield's advanced manufacturing innovation districts, but I want us to go faster and further. Many are familiar with the unique strengths of the University of Sheffield's AMRC at the Advanced Manufacturing Park across the road in Rotherham, and more recently across the road at the old Sheffield Airport site, which is now home to the likes of Boeing, McLaren, Rolls-Royce. We've also got an ever-growing digital sector with a strong startup and tech community beginning to be established in the Castlegate area in the city centre, alongside the work that we've just heard about from Kevin. And we have what we've heard about today here at the Sheffield Olympic Legacy Park. These capabilities, health and well-being, high value, advanced manufacturing and digital, are not only Sheffield's USPs, but they're also increasingly synergistic and intrinsically linked. And backed by our world-class institutions, we've got the building blocks, like few others have in the country, to start a modern post-COVID Britain, post-Brexit economy, and to start to take our place as what we are, which is the 4th largest city in the country. I'll be saying a lot more about this in the near future, but for today, thanks ever so much for inviting me, and thank you for everything you're doing. You're doing a fantastic job. Thanks, Richard.
Thank you very much, Bob, and thanks for that word. And we look forward to working with you in the future to develop, as you rightly say, that East End of Sheffield, which can have a significant impact. Can I say it's just about the end, but it would be wrong if we didn't go back to 2012, the Olympics, and one of the sons of Sheffield who was really at the leadership of that, and that were none other than Seb Coe. And Seb has been with us on this journey from the beginning. He's been a big supporter, and as was said earlier, we're the only site outside an Olympic venue that's actually got the right to use the word Olympic, and Seb was very much supportive of that and instrumental in developing that. So I've got a few words from Seb on the screen. And he said this, I dropped him a note and told him about the event. And he said, one of the greatest ambitions for London 2012 Olympics and Paralympics was to have a lasting legacy for health and well-being. And I'm delighted to see Sheffield Olympic Legacy Park at the forefront of delivering this legacy, with world-class research and innovation that will deliver long-term systematic change to benefit the nation. Lord Cole, January 2021. So I thank Seb for those words. And can I just say, in concluding, first of all, we'll answer all your questions on our website. Thanks all of you for joining us. And I hope that we have demonstrated that we are developing facilities, not just for today, but definitely for tomorrow. And I think in the words of Seb Cole, we're delivering long-term systematic change to benefit the nation. Thank you very much. If you want to come and visit the site anytime, let us know. And if you want any more information, please contact us. And have the rest of a good day. Thank you very much.